We got big news to talk about, Padres fans. Despite the offseason, the Padres still are one of the most stacked teams in all of Baseball America, coming out with their top 100 players in the major leagues. And we got to talk about where the Padres wound up with the fourth deepest roster in terms of top 100 players. What's going on, everybody? I'm Christian Pedersen, back with another episode of Padres Digest. Let's talk about those 6 players and what that means for Padres fans everywhere in terms of how stressed or excited we should be for this season. But before we go there, I got to ask you, I got to do the thing. I hate to do the thing, but you know I got to do the thing, and you want to do the thing. Hit the subscribe button, please. It helps both of us. It increases my WAR as a podcaster, increases your enjoyment as a Padres fan, because our content is delivered to you all season long. Let's go back to the list. Top 100 players in the major leagues in 2025, according to Baseball America. Top 4 teams: Braves got 9, Dodgers got 8, Astros got 8, Padres got 6th, standing alone at 4th place, the 4th most stacked roster. Dodgers, obviously, are in division. Braves are also in the National League. We have talked about how crazy the National League has become the last couple of years and continues to be this year. Astros on the other side looking loaded. So the Padres, though, I think coming into where we're at right now, combined with a sub-500 win-loss record in spring training and the offseason of ownership suing each other and not clearly having any shot at getting free agents out there, but also losing guys, losing Jerks and Profar, losing people that on the way out said, hey, we would love to still be here. It just seems like here isn't working right now as a functioning MLB-like machine. That could leave Padres fans very distraught and being like, oh my goodness, Dodgers get this, Dodgers get that, we're so screwed. That's just not the truth, because you look at this and it's just like, okay, we're still freaking loaded, because we've talked about an offseason or a first couple weeks of spring training, and go check out our other videos on our page for this, because we've got tons of great breakdowns of all of the guys that are not on this list. But all of those guys are having good, if not great, spring trainings and look like they can be a strong supporting cast, support staff. Don't really know what I want to go with there, because I don't want to belittle these. Like, those could also be guys that are in this ranking next year, because as you'll see, some of the Padres went from not ranked last year to ranked. So let's talk about the list. First guy from the Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. There you go. That's their little write-up on him. He goes down 2 slots. From 2024 being the 14th best player in baseball to this year allegedly being the 16th best player. I am not here to argue the validity of these rankings or give you any sort of he needs to be up 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. There's plenty of good other baseball players listed in the top 20. It's always kind of arbitrary. I'm fine with 16. I think Fernando Tatis is healthier than he was last season. I think Fernando Tatis being healthier earlier in the season hopefully means more consistency out of Tatis, and not necessarily that's going to be like, oh my gosh, he's going to hit 57 home runs and steal 70. Like, I'm not saying he has to have a monster year just because he's healthy, but if he's healthy, I see a year where he gets slightly better than he was last year. So this has him going down to, I say he goes up to. I say let's get a really solid, reliable year from Tatis. I think that it's entirely doable based off of what I have seen and based off of how healthy he allegedly is. Second guy for the Padres, Jackson Merrill. This one kind of surprising, going from not ranked in 2024 as one of the 100 best baseball players by Baseball America, and that is understandable. He was a rookie last season, but he has jumped from off the board to 27th overall. That is massive. This is huge. This is due respect. This is surprising, I think, to some people that he is above Manny, but this is a 22-year-old player who is not a fluke, getting some of the due recognition early in his career that he should be afforded. This is awesome to see. This is great for the Padres, because this means that, I mean, if nothing else, this just means that we're not crazy when we look at it and we say to ourselves, wow, he is really damn good at baseball. I think sometimes we view our teams through our own little rose-colored lenses, and we're like, oh, that's our guy. He's our guy. We like him. But this is not a player that we need to be arbitrarily just argued about. If other teams and other players and other writers and pundits nationally are saying, yes, he's one of the best baseball players, it just, if nothing else, like I said, validates our feelings about him. But I think it is a huge tip of the cap, much due respect. Next one up 7 spots below him, Manny Machado, dropping, or actually staying the exact same, dropping from 2 years ago at 2023 being number 5. Kind of same story as Fernando, not 100% healthy last season, is healthier this season. Look, I think Manny is a guy who understands the grind of baseball season-wise and is capable of making the right business decisions sometimes, of saying, hey, I don't need to, like he was always chided early in his career for, he doesn't sprint to first base. He doesn't sprint to first base. I love that about him. I think that's great. Keep yourself as available for as long as you possibly can. Manny Machado at 32, just because he misses a little stint here or a little stint there with an arm thing or whatever thing, now that they have the ability to get him in as a DH, is going to be in the lineup for the vast majority of the season. So if he has a regression in his defensive metrics or his speed or something like that causes him to slide in this, great. I would say if you twisted this to just being offensive numbers, that would jump from 34 up to like inside the top 20. He's a great hitter still, no matter what, and I think he'll be a great hitter for a very long time. So rank him 34. Go ahead. A good thumbnail and headline and whatever about Jackson Merrill being better than Manny. But I think Manny's still phenomenal baseball player, one of the best in the world. The next Padre, number 4 to talk about on this list, Dylan Cease, coming in at number 48 overall, jumping from number 70 in 2024. His high, though, of 45 in 2023, not back to that yet. What else can you say about Cease other than dude's just a stud? He has looked solid in spring. I don't think that you require any primary guy, starting pitcher or relief pitcher. I don't think you require any guy who is a returning dude that has had this resume or anything close to this resume to like go out there and go balls to the wall in spring training. You got to trust a guy like Cease at age 29 that he just knows what he wants to do, when he wants to do it, how he wants to get his body ready. Ruben Yabel is a great pitching coach. Have no reason to not trust him and what he's capable of. So you just got to sort of, and I know I switch back and forth on this on some guys, but spring training means a ton. Like to Terso or Nealis when he's fighting for a spot, it means a ton. To Dylan Cease, spring training is just keep your arm healthy, get a feel for some stuff, maybe try a little bit of this, that, or the other out. Make sure you're, ready to go-ish, but not like nothing here is October speed. So I say, regardless of the stats that you're looking at in spring training or the lack thereof, this dude easily top 50. He's going to be a fantastic San Diego Padre this year, and this is great news to see him on this list. He is followed by another starting pitcher, Michael King, coming in at 65 from not ranked previous 2 years. This is great, because even at 65, you can start to say, like, oh, yeah, due respect, he's also somehow slept on. I think that Padres fans know it. I think that Yankees fans, unfortunately, are going to see it and know it and recognize that they let it go. It is a double-edged sword because I want him to have a fantastic season, but I know if he has a fantastic season, that means he's going to cost more money for us. But if everything lines up that he pitches as well as he can as a 3, followed by Pivetta, and we've got a video on Pivetta, go follow the channel, hit subscribe. There's tons of other great stuff, but we're talking about the guys here in the sixth in the top 100, which is a great mark to hit. You're talking about 2 of our starting pitchers. We don't need to be no idea why that happened, but that's very appropriate that just happened because it's that kind of exciting to have 2 of your 5 starting pitchers in the top 100 players in Major League Baseball. Yu Darvish maybe doesn't have the exact stuff he had 10 years ago, but he has plenty to still be our wily, perfectly leadership, savvy, demeanor guy, veteran. very reliable guy, knows how to pitch to the park, knows how to pitch with his defense. And then the 5 spot, like, that's a really good pitching staff. So it's very exciting to see that. And then the last Padre on this list, drum roll, please, Xander Bogaerts, staying exactly at number 78, which is interesting to me. I'm split 70-30 on what I want to do with Xander this year. The 70 of me wants to cheer for him and say, go Xander, go. Have a great season. You're the bleeping man. Having Xander be the best version of himself really helps the San Diego Padres be a championship team. The 30% of me says, let him start not so hot so that the Padres have not like ice cold, but not so hot that the Padres have an excuse to really shop options. He is an expensive shortstop, yes, but I think there's a couple of takers out there that probably you can say, hey, we've got some guys that can play this position as well. And I've also, again, pitching the rest of the channel, hit the subscribe button because I've got other videos about how potentially Jose Iglesias or some other of the minor league combinations could platoon in that spot for a year while things are figured out. But I think he could be potentially the perfect dish him for a 1-year rental that, locks down the bullpen or something like that. Just an outright stud that's somewhere out there. I don't know. Just thinking. Just kind of trying to read the tea leaves a little bit. There's other content that we can do about that long term. That's me getting off track. But those are the 6 guys out of Baseball America's top 100 players this season so far who are all on the San Diego Padres. I think there are a couple more that will probably make that list by the end of the season. But let me know what you think. Drop a comment below, and we will see where we end up this season with in terms of, are we going to have the most stacked roster? I think we might. It's a good year to be a Padres fan. Keep the faith, everybody. And until then, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you later.